the tomb of Dracula. That's right, my friend. Flee this way, or that. Either way, the vampires feast. Tomb of Dracula. Vampirism and its lore. The vampire may not enter a home he has never previously been in unless invited by a member of that household. The notes of Abraham Van Helsing, London, 1888. Why has she done it, Count Dracula? Why has this aging, faded beauty, fully aware of the dire consequences, stared at you defiantly and said, "Enter, Dracula. Enter my home. Ilsa Strangway welcomes you, for we have much to offer one another. Much indeed." Nothing binds you now, Count. You move and feel the quickening within you, that urge toward prey. I came tonight to conduct a lesson, madame, to show how Dracula deals with those who presume to possess that which is his, as you did in purchasing my native castle from my turncoat descendant, Frank Drake. And for making the task far easier than I expected, I thank you. I invited you in, Count. I did not leave myself without defenses. No, not the accursed cross. Despite the legends of your having been destroyed, I think when I bought your Transylvanian home, I suspected, hoped this moment might somehow arrive. Now that it has, I mean to keep the upper hand. We will talk, Count Dracula, and perhaps bargain. Bargain? Madame, I am Dracula, a noble, not some haggling merchant, particularly not in the face of that object. For now, the cross stays, at least until we've an understanding. This book, Count, Stoker's tale about you, what truth is there in it? How accurate is its lore? I must know. I must. I've been absent for nearly 100 years, woman. That the book even exists stretches my credulity. Then, this passage, tell me if it is true. I raised the lid of the coffin and saw something to fill my very soul with horror. There lay the Count, but looking as if his youth had been renewed. This occurs in the book while the Count rests after preying upon a victim. Is it possible? Is it? Can the vampire's feasting restore a youthful appearance? Is that what you wish to know, Ilsa Strangway? If I say yes, what then? Look at me, Count. As I am now, ravaged by time, and as I was only 20 years ago, most beautiful model of my day, I want that day, that youth back forever. I won't be old. I won't. I sought that lost beauty through science and through the occult. This room is filled with testimonies of my striving and failing. And now you dare bargain with Dracula. Draw me into a mad game your vanity plays? Have care, Ilse Strangway. There is worse than aging. Not for me. I want what I want and will do anything to get it, even if it means becoming like you, a vampire. Like me, madame. If you truly knew of that, you would know Dracula has pride. Enough not to be twisted, bent to serve another, or is there more to your bargain? To intrigue and snare me? This, my dear Count, one of my occult discoveries that wasn't a fraud. For a being such as you, this dark mirror secret might well mean your salvation. Sufficiently intrigued to bargain? Surely you notice the cross is now behind me. Very well. You have only to let it fall. The book was correct. Though you were white with age, to feast made you young again, as you are now? Yes. In this, neither book nor Dracula lies. But to become a creature such as Dracula, one first must die. And even one as hardened and determined as Ilse Strangway cannot give up life completely, casually, silently, without at least a scream. And that scream rises above the sudden storm without, echoes off the mansion's ancient timbers, through its many rooms. What the devil? That's the mistress. Nightmares again, I'll wager. And me about to enjoy a late snack. Small wonder her sleep is tortured, spending every moment in that study, dozing off over one or another of those weird, blasphemous books she dotes on. It's Whitey, Mrs. Strangway. Everything all right? Shall I brew some? Dear Lord, what? Demon, who are you? What have you done to her? I am one who has no time for dry, vain old gnats. As for your mistress, I have merely fulfilled her heart's desire. The man, if such he was, hit me with an open hand, but the force knocked me across the room into the wall like a well-kicked rugby ball. Come morning, a delivery man found me and summoned a constable, but there was no trace of that monster, or poor Mrs. Strangway. Rest her soul. Thank you, Whitby.
What you've told Mr. Drake and me is most helpful.
Well then, Miss Van Helsing, ready to go, are you? Bit impatient, aren't you, Manfred? Just a country police superintendent, not so fond of sharing cases with civilians. Even if Scotland Yard does insist I cooperate in every way. Lucky Inspector Chelm got Manfred's report on this incident and alerted us, Rachel, even if Manfred doesn't think so.
One who has never beheld a vampire can very well believe in them, as we do, Frank. But we have a lead now to Count Dracula, and that's all that truly matters.
And following that lead, Dr. Rachel Van Helsing, great-granddaughter of the man who first put stake to the heart of Dracula, proceeds with her companions to the Strangway Mansion.
Please drive to the rear, Taj. Perhaps we can find something the police overlooked.
The studied balcony. Manfred said they found footprints beneath it. I would have thought Dracula would take bat form and...
Not if he carried a burden, Frank. Ilsa Strangway's body.
Leapt with her, eh? What? Where's your king-size companion heading now? Manfred said the rain washed away all other prints.
To the eyes of him and his men, perhaps, but in his native India, Taj is famed as a tracker of tigers and other creatures more elusive. Led by the giant mute, the vampire stalkers move into the neighboring woodland, a setting sun at their backs. Its warning rays stretch ahead of them, beyond the woods to cliffs above the sea, and a remnant of another time, the ruins of a coastal defense bunker from World War II. And in the musty cobwebbed darkness of this antique, a man waits. Clifton Graves, once treacherous friend to Frank Drake, now faithful slave to Count Dracula. That's it, you stupid glowing orb. Sink. Let evening fall. And my master, awake! At last the waiting ends. What is your command, master? How may I serve you? With silence, mortal lackey. Now aid the woman. The first awakening is difficult. Arise, Ilsa Strangway, come forth. The night awaits you, Ilsa, and a new life, eternal life. It feels so different than I imagined. My body, my entire being, seems so cold, chilled to my very soul. No, not your soul. You are beyond that, above it, and any mortal considerations. Now there is only the hunger, a vampire's hunger. Yes. Master, the way she looks at me, I don't. The hunger, I feel it. And I know what I must do. No, madam. That which is Dracula's alone. But the hunger, the need to fly, to hunt. In good time, dear Ilsa, but we struck a bargain. Yes?
You are the vampire you wish to be. Now, what of your strange dark mirror? The salvation it holds for me, who casts no reflection? The mirror's secret, very well. You shall have it. I bought it at an auction. An old house in Piccadilly was being torn down, its contents sold. The house had a sinister reputation. The opportunity seemed perfect in my quest for things occult, and when the mirror, black surface gleaming, was brought up, I knew I was right. It seemed to rivet me, call to me, compelling me to bid, to win. Yet I had no true hint of what I now owned until one day, in an obscure little bookshop, I found an ancient volume of witchcraft, its practice and practitioners. Those yellowed pages, that faded text, seemed to spring to life as I read, fascinated, of a 16th century sorceress who bargained with beings dark and demoniacal, and in return received the mirror, forged in an existence beyond our own, of materials mystical and hellish. The mirror was intended to be a gift of the sorceress to one she loved, but over the passing centuries, it fell into many hands. For with the proper incantation, the deep ebony surface became not looking glass, but portal, so that a person might step through time itself from one century into another. A tale not without fascination, Ilsa Strangway. But why should this doorway through time be more Dracula's salvation than any other's? Because, more than anyone else, you're a man out of his time. For nearly 100 years, you've slept. You're a 19th century man in the 20th. Perhaps you haven't yet collided with the complexities, the changes, but when you do... I've survived more centuries than you dare imagine, woman, and will continue to do so. But I am satisfied with our bargain. The incantation, madame. Then you may go and reap the reward of being a vampire. Gain what you died to achieve. Yes, the feasting, the praying that will make me young again. And moments later, two knighted shapes soar aloft from the bunker, parting over the tide-washed rocks to fly, to hunt, alone. Farewell, master. Yes, I feel your thoughts, sense your command. Never fear, I shall meet you at the woman's mansion after you have feasted. He's gone. I'd best start now. It's a long walk through the woods, and I don't want to... After all that's gone down between us, Cliff, I should have enjoyed that. But sorry a friend as you were, you deserve better than being the cringing, crawling thing Dracula's made you. We'd better hurry, Frank. From what we saw and heard while hiding, our course of action tonight is clear. But there is much to be done, and while Tash sees to Mr. Graves,
we'll deal with the resting place of his master and that of their new companion. All done, Taj? Then you and Frank had best start. You must reach the Strangway mansion before Count Dracula.
You're certain this is best, Rachel? The idea of leaving you alone here.
I'm hardly defenseless, Frank, and someone must wait for the woman.
Okay, but just as a favor to a novice vampire hunter, take care anyway, huh? Hunters and hunted. This is a night for both. And as it passes, the roles will shift, will change. But at this moment, as the soft sounding of wings falls over a neighboring village, it is Ilsa Strangway who is the stalker.
Music. The Friday night dance at the town hall.
She waits in shadow, and waiting has its reward in the sound of voices, of laughter half suppressed.
A couple sneaking from the dance, and they're young, young as I once was, as I will be again. Oh, Jeff, you're terrible. We shouldn't do this. That bash was a drag. Nothing but. You was bustin' to leave same as me, love. Where's the harm then, eh? Here's the harm. Turn those wretched unlined faces this way and see.
But what of the second hunter who glides on this evening's chill winds? What of that king of night's creatures? What of Dracula? The hunting has been good, hasn't it, Count? Those eternal pangs, if not ended, are momentarily appeased and silent, satiated. You drop to the roof of Strangway Mansion, smiling, for this has been a night of jests. Pleased, for you come to claim a prize, a mirror, dark and mystic. Then suddenly, your animal keen senses scream. Something is wrong. Someone is close by. Your eyes, at one with the darkness, sweep the ground, pierce shade and shadow to find Frank Drake. So you still pursue me, descendant mine, though hopelessly unequal to the task, as I shall demonstrate. What in a bat? No, wait. It is Dracula, fool. He who can shift forms faster than your dull face can change expressions. Dracula, who has grown weary of your dogging his every step. An annoyance I shall end by making you one of my own. No, I won't let you. Won't? I fear that option, dear cousin, is not in your hands. Then it strikes you, Count, the blinding circle of light, and in its center, a cross, the shadow of a cross. No! Where did it come from? How can it be? And you cannot look, can you, Dracula? You cannot face the house which holds another foe, armed with something you have never seen, a flashlight. No, you can only feel the burning touch of that cross it projects, and flee. Taj, you looked better than a company of Marines coming off that balcony. Rachel was right about the effect these specially altered flashlights have on him, and now that I've recovered mine, we can spread out and use both lights to cut off his escape. Blast Drake and his silent ally. Blast that Van Helsing woman more. This trap must be of her devising. With the shadow of the cross upon me, I can't take bat form, can't fly, and with them now between me and the woods, that leaves only the house. I can be through it and out the front door before either of them makes it around. And that door to freedom waits ahead of you, Count Dracula, as you smash toward it through the mansion's interior until you effortlessly fling open the heavy portal to find another light. No! Brighter, stronger than the others, and the cross, that accursed cross. Lord Inspector Manfred, if I hadn't seen it with my own blinking eyes. You've nothing on me, Giles. Thought that Yank was daft when he called from the mansion, especially when I heard how he wanted our spotlight rigged. But did you see that bloke recoil from her, sir? Like nothing human. Aye, Giles. By the look of him, like nothing human. No exit. Dracula retreats back into the mansion. Words spoken by Ilsa Strangway suddenly dance in his mind. You're a 19th century man in the 20th. You haven't yet collided with the changes, but when you do, the mirror upstairs. Meanwhile, in the dark, decaying interior of the World War II coastal bunker, they're close, but they won't catch him. Never. Not the master. I can feel it all. His thoughts are almost my own. You'll...
Silence, Mr. Graves. I hear something. First, the rush of wings, then feet striking solidly to earth, and finally, a voice, half speaking, half sobbing. Awful. Never knew anything could be so repulsive. At first, the killing rage helped, but when it was over, seeing what I'd done, what I've become. Mustn't think about it, Ilsa. Just lie down, rest, and remember, you're beautiful now. Horrible as it was, it's made you young and in my coffin. No, not a crucifix. How can I lie there? How can I You can't rest, Mrs. Strangway. Not as a vampire. Only with death. True death. Final peace. Who? No, you don't mean to kill me. You can't. Not now. Not after what I've gone through to finally get what I wanted. Not when everything is as Dracula promised. Not now that I'm again young and beautiful. Beautiful? I know there's no way to see yourself, but didn't you notice your hands? My hands? My hands! Still spotted, wrinkled. I'm old. Still old. He tricked me. He lied. No, you vain, silly witch. You tricked yourself. And the master found it a fine jest to let you. You who presume to bargain with Dracula, denied sustenance for long periods. A vampire ages until he again resumes feasting. Then he grows young, young as he was when first he became such a creature. That's what the book touched on. The Count was 30, but you, crone, became a vampire too late. He played me for a fool, me, but he's come out no better. I had no intention of living in Dracula's shadow, so I didn't tell him all about using the mirror. And what Count Dracula doesn't know will destroy him. Your master has the proper incantation, but that alone won't do. Unless there is another such mirror in the exact time and place the traveler means to journey to, he will step not into another century, but into another world. The world of the mirror's demon creators, from which there is no return. Other such mirrors do exist, but how can the Count know of them? Those demon beings wait, and it is Dracula who shall next be theirs. And you, his bootlicker, his sniggering human slave, won't live to warn him. I'll see to that. Stop, Mrs. Strangway, before... No, I can't. Not again, even to this wretch. Not with the revulsion, the full monstrousness of what I did earlier, fresh in my memory, along with the horror that I became this thing I am willingly. Dracula said there was worse than aging. I know now it's true. If you can give me peace, girl, do it. Within the bunker, a wooden bolt flies true to its mark. While in Ilsa Strangway's study, a spoken incantation moves to a climax. Et nostrum vex. It's done. If the mirror's what the woman claimed, then Dracula is trapped no longer. Yes, I need only step through and... Rachel Van Helsing's giant servant. A brave try, friend, but too late. I am stepping out of this inhospitable century. Unable to speak, Taj acts, leaps, and clutches at a vanishing foe. Silent fool, the glass will be fluid for but a few moments. There is no time for such grappling. Even you haven't the strength to hold Dracula. If you don't let go... Outside, Rachel rushes from the woods to find Taj went in after the Count. Saw him in the study. He was afraid that... The study? That's where... Frank, we must get in there. But, Rachel, good Lord, the mirror. Oh, no. Dracula's gone to his doom, and pulled Taj along with him. Next, death to a vampire slayer.